Welcome to the How to Heal podcast, the show where we explore real life stories and practical tools to thrive. I'm your host, Lindsay Trimarchi Richter, and through over a 15-year journey of all things healing, I'm here to hook it up. If you're feeling overwhelmed, looking for a deeper connection, or straight up in a psycho-spiritual crisis, I got you covered. Let's unearth your unique elixir to purpose, peace, and progress. Here we go. All right, guys. This episode is going to be bigger and better because I just recorded it and we're doing it again. We're talking about mental today. We're talking about the mental category. I want to just dive right in to a story about my husband. So when I first met my husband, I moved into the city. We met at a restaurant called Chiller's through a mutual friend, and we were kind of also like, why are we both here? We thought that it was just like, it was three of us. And a mutual friend had brought us together, and it seemed a little random, but it was totally cool. We went back to my husband, now Jason's apartment, and he lived 2 avenues away from me. I remember being in his apartment and we were playing Rock Band, and I sucked at Rock Band at the time. Actually, it was Guitar Hero. I sucked at Guitar Hero, but I saw that he had a real guitar. So I picked up the real guitar and I started playing and singing. And at the time, he looked at me from across the room with this like piercing gaze. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is like, we were like looking into each other's souls for like a split second. And the other guy that we were with was like, okay, I'm going to leave you guys. And we're like, no. Like, so fast forward, we're working in the same industry. And I started working at Starbucks, and my colleague at the time was like, your friend Jason Richter, he's a real rising star. And I'm like, he's not my friend. Like, I'm friends with his friend. Like, and later when we started to date, that was years before we even started to date. And then we started to date, and this same guy who told me that Jason was a rising star was basically telling me how I can look to Jason to embody a stronger mental game. And that's really what we're talking about this episode. He said, he's like, Jason has stone face. And what he meant was he doesn't allow his emotions to dictate responses or decisions. And absolutely, there's merit to that. I am a highly emotional person, but, one of the main reasons that I respect my husband and just admire him is his ability to remain calm, unemotional, and neutral in circumstances that are provoking. He's not perfect, but in business, he's really good. And, I think just segueing into the episode, your mind is literally a dude. Your emotions, they're totally feminine. Your mind is a masculine. You want to be, good mentally. Give yourself the food that it needs. Give yourself the positive talk that it needs. Give yourself a plan and have it execute. And, that's sort of like this very masculine way to approach how to see things through. And I always talk about like the emotional component and all this. Like, we're not really going to talk about that because at the end of the day, when you have a task to do and there is no room to be emotional, you just get it done because you know what you need to do, and you make decisions that can be harsh, but that just don't have room for the emotion. And I want to just go into a couple of different concepts. I'm going to give you really high level what they are, and then we're going to go deeper into them. We're going to talk about the ego. We're going to talk about meditation and quieting the mind. And we're going to talk about perspective shifts and how to integrate perspective shifts. And we'll go into that first, actually, because I think when we do quiet the mind and when we're focused on the task at hand and we're not allowing emotions to get in the way and we're forging forward, we start to have perspective shifts of like, I can do this better. I've been operating under a defunct mentality. Like, I need to fix this mentality. And when we look at it on the different layers, those different layers start to become apparent as we work on the lower hanging fruit. So what I'm saying is that a perspective shift doesn't just happen. It happens over a long period of time in order for you to integrate it, in order for you to see all the sneaky ways that you're really embodying this defunct level of being or thinking. And that plays into the ego. And I had this dream a year ago. And a year ago, I was in the thick of being postpartum, having a baby that was 4 months old. And I had this dream that I saw Beyonce burning in my dream, but she was like burning and like in peace and integrity and strength. And I was like, that means that I have some serious ego deaths in my horizon. And I'm totally starstruck. I'm just like lame like that. If I see a celebrity, I'm like, so this dream was highly resonant for me. And I think it's worth mentioning that when we have the mentality of being open enough to lay our ego down and are open to change our perspectives on things and are open to say, I'm not doing it the best way. And you know why I'm not doing it the best way? Because I'm not seeing the results I want to see in my life. So let me look at how I can change. Let me look at how others are triggering me. Let me look at how I can learn from what these triggers are, because it's not everyone else's shit. It's mine too. And I have to be responsible and accountable for that. So when you check your ego, you're able to recognize when you're making yourself better than someone else at the expense of someone else. And when you're mentally focused, when you're, doing the task, let's just use running for example. Say you're running a long period of time and you're in your life, you're doing all the other things. So like you're pretty calm. You're able to stay present in the moment. You're able to hold a train of thought. You're able to focus and you start to get excited. You're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling so good. Like I'm awesome. And this person is, and that's when we check ourselves and say, that's a sneaky way the ego is coming in to hold us back. That's an opportunity for growth that is sneakily coming in because we feel really good. And in order for us to maintain that feeling of feeling good, we have to put somebody else down. And there are just these defunct ways of thinking require levels and levels and levels of examination and addressing what we're doing that's not working. So we always want to check our ego. We never want to put other people down. It's just not the way it works. We hold our head up high. My mother always taught me to raise my nose up a little bit when I walked around. And not because I'm better than others, but because I know who I am and I'm standing in that room and I'm being the best that I can be. And we all want to be around people that are being the best that they can be. We really don't want to be around people that we think are beneath us, or like that we think like if I step on them to get higher, I'm at a better vantage point. Like we really all want to be on an equal playing ground. We all want to be standing with our heads held high in the room together because we want, ideally, to be surrounded by people that are inspiring us, that are pushing us to be better. So check that ego. Because when you're feeling good and you're like, oh yeah, like I'm better than this person because of that, like that's that chatter that holds you back, that does not serve not only you, your game, but others and their game and our game all together. When we get into a space of meditation and focus, and we're really able to focus on the task at hand, whether that's a physical task, a mental task, whatever, we're able to really stay present to what's happening, not just in the task, but like in our body. I'm in the flow state. I just had a thought and now actually I have pain in my shoulder. That is the ideal philosophy of becoming mindful, knowing where our ego is being sneaky and coming in and derailing our progress, and knowing how to address old, antiquated, defunct ways of being and thinking so that we can have an ego death and get to the next level. When you are able to stay present in the moment and you're able to focus on the breath, be in the moment and really just laser focused present, we are able to think outside of the box. Answers come easily. We know the answers. We're not looking frantically for other people to give us answers. We just know answers. And I think that it's really important for us to get into that zone more and more every day with mindful breathing, intentional thought, focused action, being in flow state. Because the more we are frantic and looking for answers, this is like sort of when we go to AI and we go to ChatGPT and like search things that we know we don't need the answers from ChatGPT for. We're just sort of like mindlessly killing time and almost like mindlessly delegating tasks that if we had done them ourselves, we would have been able to have a breakthrough of self-empowerment. So I think we really want to be mindful of how we use ChatGPT, why we use it, and not to be using it as a life coach, a therapist, a friend. Empower yourself through focused intention, empower yourself through mindful movement, and know that you have those answers within you at all times, no matter what. The last thing I want to just talk about is addiction. In regards to this mental episode, addiction mentality is very much all or nothing. And I've been there. I know what it's like to not know how to move forward without substance. And the mentality is always like, I'll start tomorrow. Or even like food. I'll start the diet tomorrow. I'll start the exercise tomorrow. I'll quit smoking weed tomorrow. Like I just need one last. And my husband and I just started watching The Bear, the latest season of The Bear. And cousin says to someone like, yo, bro, tomorrow is today. And it's a pretty profound statement because your embodiment of the issue that you're dealing with has to be felt right now. It doesn't have to be felt tomorrow. The level of accountability, the level of responsibility, the direness of the situation needs to be felt now. It's sort of that mentality, that stone face mentality that my husband has. Like, we don't put it off. We deal with it now. This is the time. This is the decision. This is the time to take the action of the stone cold decision that needs to be made because all the emotions are aside and whatever we're doing is not working. So this is the correct decision. And when we look at addiction and we look at abusing substance, that's why there are 12-step programs that help people on the spiritual lens reconcile with past behaviors, past experiences, things that they've harmed other people, harming themselves, really having to forgive themselves and others. I think in September, I will be 3 years sober from alcohol. And in that 3 years, I've been sort of like California sober. But I'll tell you that like every time I smoke weed, I open up a radio signal. I open up like numerous stations, and they're not my stations. It's scary because when I'm hyper aware and in the zone of what I need to do, I can't afford to be tuning into other stations. That's not my business. My energy is going towards something that is not mine. And that's why I gave up alcohol, because my biggest, brightest, best self, alcohol doesn't help that. And I'm not saying everyone needs to be sober. I'm very much all or nothing. So when I'm drinking, I get thirsty. And even towards the end of me not drinking, even just a little bit of alcohol was just derailing enough to the point where I just needed to stay stone cold focused on what mattered. And substance did not matter. I say this because I want you to know, if you are struggling with addiction, that it's not easy to come to the terms of, I have to be sober. But when you look at yourself in the mirror, honestly, again and again and again, and you say, there is no other path, this is not serving me, hold on to that feeling today, not tomorrow. Hold on to that feeling today, not tomorrow. It's one day at a time. Stay stone-faced in adversity. Stay stone-faced in the decision-making of what is best for you in this moment right now. Tomorrow is today, cousin. I love you. I will see you guys next week. Peace out.